For 4 decades, Cardiovascular Institute of the South and Terrebonne General Health System have partnered to deliver a legacy of cardiovascular innovation. We lead the state in advanced programs and complex procedures that you won't find anywhere else. Our specialized treatments for peripheral vascular disease, artery and vein disease, heart valve and structure conditions, arrhythmias, and more attract patients from around the world. Together, we deliver the cardiovascular care that you deserve. Visit tgncis.com to learn more.
All right, welcome back to Bayou Town. Martin Falls here, and as always, Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department First Lieutenant Blake Tabor joins us, and they always bring us the news and try to keep you informed in the public. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Martin. Thanks for having me.
All right, a couple of news items that we have for sure, and it's the arrest of a Houma man, and I'll let you talk about it a little bit.
Sure. So, this one has kind of garnered a lot of interest on our Facebook post, and it's going to certainly tug at the heartstrings of our community, and it has up to this point. So on February 5th, shortly before 11 p.m., our office received a call from a concerned family member who began to report a series of physical abuse upon a mother and her child. As we got to that location and met with the concerned family member, we learned that the mother had been abused at the hands, allegedly, of a Caleb Nathaniel Starnes. He's a 27-year-old male. You see him photographed here. And of course, it was a little disturbing to learn that the child was a nonverbal autistic child under the age of 9. So again, anytime we have these types of accusations, these are very serious. And, again, we are here for the betterment of and the protection of the victims, but we also have a certain side of law enforcement. We have to protect the suspect to some degree until they're determined to be a suspect. So in this case, again, Special Victims Unit gets involved. They are our resident experts. They do a phenomenal job. And again, they began to investigate this matter and really quickly determined that it appeared that Mr. Starnes was absolutely responsible for the accusations against him. There was some video surveillance footage that surfaced of the abuse that was turned over to authorities, and of course that was used as evidence in this case. So again, once we reviewed that video surveillance footage, our detectives quickly located Caleb Nathaniel Starnes at his home and brought him in for questioning. During that questioning series, he adamantly denied any abusive actions towards the mother or the child. Ultimately, we felt like we had enough evidence to charge him with 3 counts of cruelty to a juvenile, and he was transported to the Terrebonne Parish Criminal Justice Complex, where he sits on a $30,000 bond. Now, it's important to note that people are going to say, well, what about the abuse to the mother? Okay, this is an ongoing investigation. Additional charges are unknown at this point, but again, we will keep everyone updated as it gets further.
It's one of these stories that makes you scratch your head on, there's all children are innocent.
Sure.
But there's another level when you're talking about non-expressive person who just really can't scream or holler, fight back for themselves. But good work on y'all part in bringing this to justice.
And look, we like to commend the family member that was concerned. A lot of family members want to keep these types of things in-house, and for a multitude of reasons, obviously. But they began to see some behavior changes in this child, and they felt it was need to come forward with that information. So again, that was very brave on the part of that person. And again, this is something that we encourage all family members to do. This isn't about putting personal information out to everyone, right, and creating an embarrassment level, but it's about creating a safe environment for people to be able to live in. No doubt.
We have another one we're going to talk to you about. This one involved multiple weapons. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, and this one, again, is sort of inflammatory because it involves 4 children under the age of 7, along with a female victim. So we received a report on February 7th, which was Friday, shortly after 7 p.m. We were called to a 400 block of West Side Boulevard after calls of a disturbance that was involving a weapon in the parking lot of that particular address, but it also involved children who were present at the time of the disturbance. So again, once we got there, we quickly located 4 children under the age of 7 and also a female victim. who provided information that she was involved with and we're gonna say it. It's a Kylan Kiwan Nixon, 30-year-old male from Houma. You see him photographed here. They were involved in a verbal argument over their shared children, which ultimately led to Mr. Nixon allegedly pulling a rifle and pointing it at not only the female victim, but at the children as they sat in a car. Again, anytime we deal with these kind of accusations, we always look for the concrete evidence. In this case, luckily for us, we were able to find that concrete evidence in multiple forms to sort of solidify the fact that this did in fact occur. And deputies were able to quickly determine that he left the scene prior to our arrival. Of course, anytime that happens, we quickly saturated the area in an attempt to locate him. Deputies quickly located him not far from the scene, and when they noticed him, they saw him carrying a weapon. As they attempted to contact him, he fled the area and discarded the weapon in an attempt to deter deputies, and ultimately he was taken into custody a short time later. At the culmination of all of this, he was arrested for 5 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm, obstruction of justice and evidence tampering, possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number, possession of firearm by convicted felon, resisting an officer, and outstanding warrants in an unrelated case. He's currently in jail, remains there on a $251,000 bond by local judges.
Wow, that's 2 cases involving children. We appreciate you coming forward. And once again, remind the public, if you're out there in the public and you know of anything taking place, especially with children, to give you a call.
Absolutely. And look, it's as simple as this. If you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Right? And this isn't about being nosy. This is about protecting those people that may or may not be able to protect themselves. And we have to keep that in mind.
First Lieutenant, good seeing you again. Y'all keep up the great work and all the good that y'all do, besides going after the bad people. But thank you so much.
Thanks, Martin, for having us.
First Lieutenant Blake Tabor. We'll take a break. A lot more on Bayou Time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.